name's Lee, and today I'm going to take you through a modified warm-up sequence for our Light Warriors United slightly advanced flow. So that involves some back bends, some inversions, some arm balancing. So there's quite a lot going on, and we want to make sure our body is nicely warmed up for that. And this is just one way of doing that. We're going to start by coming to all fours. Near the front of your mat, you want to put your hands down, fingers facing forwards, get your shoulders over your wrists with your wrists about shoulders width apart. Get your knees underneath your hips and find yourself in a nice balanced position with a flat back, looking slightly forwards in front of your hands. And then I just want you to take your left leg back and come up onto the toes, so you've got a nice bend in the toes, the heels over the toes, and just push back into that a little bit, pushing the ground away. So we're pushing strongly into the ground with our hands and pushing our shoulders away from the ground, and then pushing our heel away and feeling a nice little stretch in the calf just to wake everything up a little bit. Now from this position, I want you to lift that leg, keeping the foot flexed and the hips square towards the ground, and then we're going to dip our head and bring the knee to our nose, or as close as we can get. Take it back out again, keeping the toes pointing down, heel about level with the hips. And again on the out breath, we're going to bring the knee to the nose, and back out again and place it on the ground. Now we're going to take our right leg back, so we're in plank position. We're going to lift that left leg into three-legged dog, and then as we breathe out, we're going to bring that knee to the elbow. Hold that for 1, 2, 3, and back up into your three-legged dog. Now this time as we come forward, we're going to bring it as close as we can to our shoulder, and then we're going to take it out to the side, look forwards, and bring that foot to the ground, and drop the back knee. At this point, we're going to take a breath in to a cow pose, and out to a cat. Walking the hands back, and taking your hands overhead. Take your right wrist in your left hand. Take a deep breath in and stretch. And then we're going to bend to the left over that leg that's extended. Try and keep your shoulders back. Tuck your tailbone in. And take a breath here. Breathe back in. Stretch up tall. Bring your hands down to your heart space, and then we're going to take the toes on this left foot that's out to the side, and we're going to rotate them round, and we're going to rotate our bodies, and on an out breath we're just going to twist and bring our right elbow to our left knee. Take a breath in and out just to increase that twist. Come back to centre. Take a breath in, reach up tall, and we're just going to fold over that extended leg. You might want some blocks to come down onto. You should feel a nice stretch in your hamstring here. We're going to come back up, twist back round to the front, turn our left toes back to the front. Bring our hands down, tuck the toes of our right leg, and come back up into three-legged dog. Down into our first down dog. Just hold this for a couple of breaths. Then let's come down onto our knees, taking mat's width apart, bring the big toes together, and we'll just settle back into a child's pose. Come back up onto all fours. Now I just want to stretch the wrists out a little bit. So I'm going to get you to turn your hands around so that your fingers are pointing back towards your knees. Keep your shoulders over your wrists. The further forwards your hands are, the more of a stretch we're going to get in our wrists, and you can bend the elbows very slightly if that feels comfortable for you. And then let's just take a couple of rotations here. So once you've done 3 in one direction, let's come back the other way. And we can turn those round again. And just shake them out a little bit. Okay, so let's look at the second side. So hands back down, fingers facing forwards, shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees, and our toes touching the mat. This time we're going to take our right leg back to stretch out the toes and that calf and the calf. Push the floor away. Now let's breathe in and raise that leg. Toes stay pointing down, hips square to the floor. And as we breathe out, bring that knee to the nose. Breathe in, stretch it out again. And out, knee to nose. Take it back out. Drop those toes to the floor. Take the left leg back. Raise the right leg into 3-legged dog. Trying to create a nice straight line now from our fingertips through to the toes on that raised leg. Now let's come forward. Bring that knee to the elbow. Back up to 3-legged dog. Take a breath in. Breathe out. Let's come to the shoulder this time. I'm going to take that leg out and bring it to the ground. Let's drop this left knee. Actually, I'm going to turn around so you can see what's going on. So, my right foot is out to the side now, left knee's grounded. We're going to breathe in, take a cow pose, look up. Breathe out, take a cat. Walk the hands back. Bring them up overhead, breathing in. Take hold of the left wrist this time with the right hand. And as we exhale, we're going to lean over that right leg. Take a breath here. And as we breathe in, reach up tall. Bring our hands down to heart space. As we breathe out, we're going to rotate round. Bring the toes of that right foot in line. I can lift them up, or have them down on the ground. As we breathe in, stretch up nice and tall. As we breathe out, we're going to rotate again. Bring the left elbow to the right knee. Push into those hands to increase that twist. As we breathe in, come back to centre. Arms up overhead. Then we're going to fold as we breathe out over that right leg. For a slightly twisted forward fold. Get a nice hamstring stretch. If you want to increase that, you can lift the toes. Stretch up nice and tall again. Rotate back round to the front. Bring the hands to the mat. Tuck the toes of that left foot. Push up into your three-legged dog again. Bring that foot down to the mat and settle into your down dog for a couple of breaths. Knees can be bent if they need to be. The important part is to push those hips back and up. You can maybe pedal through it a little bit. Whatever feels good for you. We'll come back to all fours. I'm going to turn around and face you for this bit because we're going to do a little bit more work with the wrists. So what I want you to do is to come down onto a forearm, doesn't matter which one first, I'm going to go my right, and then we're going to place the opposite hand over that wrist, so our elbows in contact, our wrists in contact, and we're going to spread the fingers on that hand and push them push the knuckles into the mat, hold it there, and as we breathe out, we're going to bring all those fingers together and point them up. And then back down again. Pushing those fingertips and knuckles into the mat. And then just bring them up again together and flex the wrist. One more time. Fingertips into the mat. And bring them up again. Let's just shake that one off. Let's bring the other forearm to the mat now. So we're going across the front there. We're going to put our hand over the wrist, fingertips and knuckles pressing into the mat. So we're putting a little bit of effort into there to flex them back as much as possible. And we're going to close that hand, point the fingers and the thumb together and lift it up. Think sock puppet. Spread them out again, fingertips to the back of the mat, and bring it up again. Nice and flat, pressure backwards, and one more time, just bring them up and hold that for a second. We're going to come back to all fours. We're going to take a couple of cat-cows, so let's take a breath in. Drop the belly, lift the hips and the head, and a breath out. Arch that spine, push the floor away. One more breath in to cow, and then out again to cat. Really pushing the floor away. Take the knees, mat's width apart, big toes together. Let's just settle back into a child's pose to finish our warm-up. Take a couple of breaths here. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling nice and warm now. We've moved all the parts of our body that we want to use in the rest of the practice, so I'll let you go on from here and take your practice wherever you want to be. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you again soon.